Hi. The proverbial hit the ultimate yesterday, and I need to do a little bit of explaining before going a bit further what this video is about. If you are not somebody who follows people on YouTube as much as I do, as avidly as I do, I have a massive interest in how YouTube is taking over mainstream media. And because I work in television, I'm a freelance producer-director. I have a show on air at the moment, and I've broadcast for Channel 4, BBC, and lots of other companies, all of which I'm not very keen on. So before you hold that against me, I'm on your side in terms of your criticisms of mainstream. Very much agree, but they pay me money at the moment, so I'm sticking with them. So what this channel is about is looking at the TV film industry, sort of behind the scenes, and sort of commenting on it. That's kind of what I do. I try and give my takes. And I never seem to agree with anybody. I seem to be very much alone in my thoughts, but I will trundle on. If you want to get further takes, you'll find me on Twitter at Fludded. I'm sure somewhere in this video there'll be links. So what is this story? Rikita is he's a Minnesota, Nick Rikita is a Minnesota lawyer. He's the owner of a channel called Rikita Law, which discusses legal topics. He breaks down lawsuits and drinks a lot of scotch. He does a lot of law-splaining. And tells us, what should this... What he'll do is he'll do a stream of a live court case, and he'll interject with his colleagues, his fellow lawyers, about certain things that are happening or not happening, and why the judge has said that, and why this process is happening. It's quite interesting, if that's your kind of thing. But around all that is his bubble of people that he's managed to I'm going to use the word grift because he's kind of openly, well, they all are, everyone's openly grifting. Everyone's trying to make a success of their YouTube channels, so they use each other, and they go and pop on to chats so they can introduce themselves to other audiences. It happens all the time. That's fine, but part of his bigger group, they've enabled him to share a lot of his political opinions and given him avenues through which his personality can come out. And for a lot of people, this might not be. He might be somebody you don't like. A lot of people love Nick. I can kind of take him or leave him. Sometimes I listen and I laugh and I go along, but sometimes I think, oh, you're a bit nasty. That's a bit on the nose. And he has been quite vocal about a trans activist by the name of Keffels, who is quite active at the minute on the internet, and who has a lot of followers and supporters. And as activists, they will try and ratio you if you disagree with them. And they will be activists doing what activists do, which is trying to annoy and disrupt as much as possible. That's what activism is. But in a funny way, a lot of the groups that Nick has been getting involved in are also activist-based groups. And you can almost it's irritating really that you can say one is left and one is right-leaning. Nick is right-leaning, so all the channels that he has been attracted to and been invited onto their streams are right-leaning. They would say they're not. And a lot of people on the right have a problem in that Hitler was on the right. And they've never been able to separate themselves from the extreme right as much as they would like. I can do it quite simply for you if you want. You've got moderate right and moderate left. And then you've got kind of like far right or hard right. And then you've got extreme right. So if you're sort of the moderates are who we're interested in, the centrist, the moderate left, and moderate right, because these people are all talking to one another. Anyone further out on either side are activists, and they aren't speaking to each other. They're hating each other. So what's happened is that people are slowly drifting further to the left and to the right as they get more involved in activism. And Nick has sort of been involved with, not involved with, but just sort of shoulder to shoulder. And I know it's, death by association or whatever, but that's just how the world works. If you're chums with somebody who says vile things and there is a zero criticism from your mouth about them, then you're going to be kind of tarred by the same brush as they are. So what happened was that Nick had, well, I'll play a little bit. There was a bit of a scrap between these trans activists and Nick, and it's to do with, I think it initially started to do with like kids being exposed to, what is it called when men dress up as women? That, going into libraries, going into schools, and there's been a recent sort of outcry about that, which Nick got involved in, I think. A religious man, very conservative, if you like, traditionalist, family values and all that. So this didn't marry up with what he thinks at all. In fact, quite often a lot of these things are seen as like, for the people who are on maybe to the more right of conservative, are not happy at all about the world changing. But it is, and there's not a huge amount anybody can do about it. But do the brave battle and fight it and see if a compromise can finally be met by the moderates and the centrists or whoever. So that's what's happened. And recently there was, I don't know, some sort of law case or whatever, but a bunch of people on the left, basically, I think they tried to take him to the courts, and the courts threw out the case. And on the paperwork, there was a bunch of names of the people who had made the complaints. And I can't remember exactly, but I can play you Nick's response to it being thrown out. If I just bring up that video, hold on. Let me see if I can get it here.
Reading these,
guess if I put it over here, I can play it to you. Here he is. There's Nick. So he's got the paperwork in front of him. He's got a list of names, and this is kind of what he did.
Reading these,
by the way, just I know, I'm sorry you want to hear it, but just to say, this is something that he did. This is doing something. It's not saying something. It's an action. He's actually doing something here. He's going on the internet with and he's telling you what he's going to do. And this is where I think the rules have been broken. His channel, by the way, has been completely deleted. It happened last night. I forgot to mention that. But his channel's been deleted, and he's not too happy about it.
Reading these 45 complaints that I got will only take 10 minutes. It's such a basic bitch effort that it won't take long at all. I mean, these people really did not try very hard to get me disbarred. I'm kind of disappointed in it.
He's mad. That's what
I have to get them scanned in. I will have to redact the addresses for the purposes of YouTube. But fear not.
Sorry, just to say that. So for YouTube, he said he's going to redact. He's on YouTube saying this, by the way, but he says he's going to redact, just show the names and not show you the addresses of the individuals. But this is what he goes on to do on YouTube. He's doing it. He's doing something on YouTube, which is important. He's not publishing the addresses on YouTube, but he's on YouTube telling you where you can go and find them. That's the mistake.
Here comes the plug. Here comes the grift. It's actually not a grift. I'll be posting the full unredacted documents on my locals page because fuck you. That's why. That's right.
There's a madman if ever you saw one.
Want to try and impact my career because you don't like a joke I made? Well, you forever. Reading.
Right. So that didn't go too well for him. And just while we're playing clips, I've got another clip here from the YouTuber Destiny. Do I have that?
I like the Nick Rikita guy, kind of. He's interesting.
I do. Let me just play this to you. If you don't know who Destiny is, he's just a streamer. He lives in that little room there. He's got a little table light, on a dimmer that's kind of rotating the colors, and he's got his 3 little octagons to deaden the sound for you to make the stream better. And he voices his opinions. He tends to be quite kind of like almost centrist, but he's definitely left leaning. He's doing his effort to just try and get everyone talking, which is honourable, I guess. But he's kind of like, he's a bit intense and often wrong, I think, in what he says. Let me just play it.
I like the Nick Rikita guy, kind of. He's interesting, but like he was just making insane statements. Like he was going way too far. I'm surprised he was able to skirt by on that up against the wall shit for as long as he did. Like I was expecting his shit to get nuked way sooner than that. But I mean, it finally caught up to him, I guess. I like the Nick Rikita guy. Kind of.
That is, he's referring there to the conversations that had gone on before the activists tried to take him to court, which was a tweet which had the image of putting people up against a wall. The interpretation of these things, it's arguable, but as Destiny's saying there, it kind of like he was surprised that he didn't get booted off YouTube just on the basis of that. And here he is on YouTube telling you where to go and see the names and addresses of 47 people who he doesn't like. It's kind of weird for a lawyer to do that of any sort of credibility, really. For a lawyer to say to you, go to this website, I'll be there telling you the names and addresses of people that I'm fighting ideologically, politically. Nothing to do necessarily with what his YouTube channel's about. Just and this is what I mean when I say these YouTube channels have a central sort of directive, which is it might be talking about comics, it might be talking about law, it might be doing what I want to do, which is talk about media and news and things that are happening in the film industry and the TV industry. But peppered around that is the cloud of political opinion that we all can't avoid right now. And that's just how it is. So in that cloud, Nick was there screaming and yelling. And here he is going to his YouTube channel, which is supposed to be about explaining law to people, where he's telling you, come to this uncensored space I've created where the word dox is used. I'm not sure about the doxing thing, but there are other personalities out there who don't want their names revealed necessarily. I mean, there's a guy called Umbrella Guy who was mentioned in the Johnny Depp trial. Does he want his name and address putting out there? Is it the argument they say is that, well, it's in the public domain and it's on public documentation from a court, so it's okay. Well, no, it's not, because although it may be there, it's for if you want to go and find the names of these people, then you go and find them. What you don't do is an action of publishing them vindictively, which is why would he not? Why would he publish addresses of where people live if he didn't want them to be scared by that and to be really upset? And so it's kind of everyone has a right to challenge people in court. But if that right is going to be taken away by the fear that a lawyer can put into you to say, well, if you do it and it's thrown out, I'm going to get you back by telling everyone who you are, and they're going to come and get you because of what you think. Now, that might not happen, but it might happen. Are these people vulnerable? Well, it's the trans community. Aren't they vulnerable? They're a protected group by law. It's just a stupid thing for a lawyer to do. Do you want to know the real name of Mauler? You know the guy Mauler, probably one of the most. He's a film critic. He does ridiculously long YouTube videos about films, essays, if you like. His name's Mauler everyone on the internet has these silly names, these pretend names. It's just, it comes off the back end of having, a fake name when you play computer games. So Mauler's out there. Do you want to know his real name? Do you want to know what he looks like? Because he's got he doesn't even show you his face. What about Az from Heels versus Babyface? Do you want to know his real name and where he lives? Because he's well hated by a lot of people, loved by hundreds of thousands of people, but hated by scores of people. I would say hundreds and thousands. I mean, we know he's in Yorkshire because he sounds like he's or near Manchester or something like that. He's got a PO box. You can probably go there. I think that's in Sheffield. I don't know, Leeds. I don't know. These are the risks we run, and these are groups of people who are putting out names and addresses of people who they disagree with, but don't want their names and addresses putting out. I don't know. So that's one side of it. The publishing of people's names and addresses is one side of it. I'll just get rid of this. But there's another side to it as well, which is that I think, which I don't think this is the reason that the channel got deleted for Nick, but there is an organization called Court TV, and this is them. This is their website. Now, what Court TV are is they are a organization set up to bring what's happening in the courts to the members of the public. Now, they're not just one company. They have affiliates. They've set up a bunch of affiliates all around the country, America being the country, where they can have access to this footage. Now, I'm not exactly sure on the legal relationships to become what you do to become an affiliate. Does that mean you have exclusivity in, like, for example, here in Birmingham? This company here, WIAT, they've got a license to use the Court TV's cameras footage. So Court TV, and this happens quite a lot in television. You can't have 25 companies turning up with 25 cameras each. You need to put 4 or 5 cameras in a space, and then that feed is shared. Now, in order to manage it, you could say, well, just put it out on the internet and anyone can have it. Well, how are they going to make money out of that? How's that going to be financed? So I think what's happened is that Court TV sell licenses to stations in different states who have access to, it's like buying any license, really. So Nick, what he would do is piggyback his live streams on YouTube onto these streams, which are available on YouTube. You can go and watch them. I think it's called the Law Network, who he seems to have had cease and desist notifications from in the past. So he would do that quite happily, totally believing, as did his fans, that he's perfectly entitled to what's happening in the courts in the public interest. The public have the right to see it. And this is all true. That's all true. But in order to, they can go and watch it. They can actually go to the court and watch it if they want, or they can go and watch it on the Law Network YouTube channel. But what YouTubers, I don't think what YouTubers can't do is just take that material, because anyone who says no, it's fine, I can guarantee have done cease and desist or DMC. Oh, it's got DMCA takedowns. DMC takedowns? DMAC? I don't know. Done takedowns of their content that other YouTubers have used. So these are people who are on one hand saying, oh, I don't want people to use my copyright material, but I want to use other people's copyright material. It can't swing both ways. So that's kind of like one of the other issue. Another take I've got, which is just I talk about this cloud around a channel having, a main focus. Like this is a law channel, and they're there to explain law to you. But it's the cloud of noise that has to exist around it in order for the parasocial relationship to exist, which is their personalities. What are they like? What do they think? And that's where they start winning bigger audiences, not just by this explaining things, but by what are they like as a person? And if you don't like them as a person, then you're going to draw attention from people who are going to actively try and stop you doing what you're doing if you make any mistakes. So that's my 20-minute version, my 20-minute sort of long drawn-out version of the whole Nick Rekieta business. What do you think? I think that he'll be back, by the way. I think he'll be back on YouTube pretty soon. I don't know. I think there's a lot of clout contacting various managers at YouTube. A lot of big YouTubers are supporting Nick, and they've got actual one-on-one relationships with people at YouTube. So maybe it's reconcilable and he'll be back, which means which I hope means that this video can be seen as a conversation to be had around stuff like this. I don't know. Tell me what you think, and you can find me on Twitter if you want to chat to me, or you can just leave a comment down below. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to build everything up, and this takes time, energy, and that's something I'm losing more of with every day. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely day. Cheerio.